notice, you can see some of the trails that have just been sprayed recently. But 20 years ago, they dissipated in minutes, max. Now they sit up there for 30, 40 minutes and then turn into huge cloud banks.
Another example is the array of technologies, often referred to collectively as geoengineering.
Testing terraforming to save the Earth from global warming.
Could a strange substance found by a southwest Arkansas man be part of a government test? Well, that's the question at the heart of a phenomenon called chemtrails. Chemtrail.
Welcome back, Mythheads. Researching the topic of chemtrails, one will find a ton of conspiracy theories claiming the government is either controlling or poisoning everyone by dropping chemicals from planes. What people think are chemtrails are actually just contrails or condensation trails. These are line-shaped clouds composed of ice particles that are visible behind jet aircraft engines. Conspiracy theorists claim chemtrails are not regular contrails, but that simply isn't true. So-called chemtrails are just naturally occurring condensation trails created by a plane's engine. Initial contrail particles can either be already present in the atmosphere or formed in the exhaust gas. Depending on the temperature and the amount of moisture in the air at the aircraft altitude, contrails evaporate quickly if the humidity is low, or persist and grow if the humidity is high. Persistent contrails are mainly composed of water already present along the aircraft flight path. What is occurring is essentially liquid water condensation created by a high amount of humidity. Contrails are just clouds. If sufficient humidity occurs in the exhaust of the aircraft, water condenses on the vapor particles to form liquid droplets. As the exhaust air cools, due to mixing with the cold local air, the newly formed droplets freeze and form ice particles that make up the contrail. It's similar to the water droplets on the exhaust of your car, only at 39,000 feet in the air and negative 40 degrees, those droplets freeze and form a contrail. Since the atmosphere plays such a large part in whether or not a plane will leave a consistent contrail, some planes do and some planes don't. This is often incorrectly brought up by conspiracy theorists who claim that chemtrails are different from contrails because they last longer in the sky. Since they only see some planes leaving trails rather than all, they assume those planes leaving persistent trails are not just regular contrails but something else entirely. There's quite a few images like this one. They're both contrails. The idea behind the chemtrail conspiracy is that the government or some part of it is spraying the American population with something. Or maybe it's NASA. What are they spraying anyway? That's the thing, nobody knows. Some people are so sure this is occurring, but there's no real consensus as to what's even happening. Mind control? Social engineering? Geoengineering? Poison? Gay bombs?
If you're a new listener, just type in Pentagon tested gay bomb on Iraq. They didn't consider using it. They've used it on our troops. In Vietnam, they'd spray PCP on the troops, Jacob's Ladder. You think PCP, some horse tranquilizer or something? They got stuff that'll whack your brain permanently.
Whack your brain.
I don't like them putting chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay. Do you understand that? Serious crap. I'm sick of being social engineered. It's not funny.
That's Alex Jones. He's a wonderful character. He's one of the internet's biggest conspiracy theorists and has his own talk show. It's hard to take Alex Jones seriously, not just because he looks like an angry potato, but because there's hardly a conspiracy theory he does not believe in. And he uses his platform to sell a bunch of silly merch, vitality drugs, and doomsday prepper equipment. So, Alex Jones is sick of social engineering. Chemtrails being some sort of mind control formula used for social engineering fall in line with a ton of other conspiracy theories involving the notion that the government is this evil entity seeking to do what exactly? Dumb down society? Keep people complacent? Humanity does a pretty good job of doing that on its own. Just give people their favorite show, a Big Mac and a side of fries, and they're complacent. The idea that the government is spraying mind control chemicals from the sky is a bit much. If these planes were really dropping chemicals, that would look very, very different than contrails. If that was aluminum or some other chemical raining down upon us, it wouldn't look like a white light-shaped cloud. Some theories say chemtrails are the government's attempts at weather modification and geoengineering. Most of these ideas come from past research and experiments. Many nations, America included, have researched weather engineering and cloud seeding since the 1940s, but it is not something that is actually being done on a wide scale. People have also researched time travel. That doesn't mean time travel is real.
I'm from the future. I came here in a time machine that you invented. Now I need your help to get back to the year...
People have also researched time travel. That doesn't mean time travel is real. Even Alex Jones' gay bomb conspiracy is based on past research. The whole thing spiraled out of a 1994 proposal on possible non-lethal chemical weapons containing sexual pheromones. There's no actual proof other than the fact that someone somewhere thought it would be a good idea to research a gay bomb. Chemtrail conspiracy theorists claim to have other proof. They point to supposed high levels of aluminum and barium in chemical tests as proof, but these are often poorly performed with incorrect measurements. There is no actual proof of higher chemical levels in the water or soil, but people continue to use these incorrect tests as proof of geoengineering and chemtrails anyway. Many believers claim that contrails are a new development and did not naturally occur before the 90s, citing this as proof of it being some sort of new government chemtrail program.
In 1996, all condensation ice crystal trails only formed at 20,000 feet and higher, generally in the winter months, and they faded out in a few seconds to the maximum of 1 minute. Your whole life, remember, watching a trail go by and watching it disappear? Then suddenly in 96, before anybody was even talking about chemtrails, I would notice,
man, why do those stay?
Fascinating.
That just isn't true. Contrails have long been observed as a natural occurrence. It's more likely the case that people simply did not notice contrails in the sky until the whole contrail-chemtrail conspiracy was actually brought to their attention. Another thing chemtrail believers like to use as proof: images of what they allege to be the interior of chemtrail planes. Barrels inside planes that they believe contain the very chemicals being sprayed down upon the masses. These are actually pre-production test aircrafts, and the barrels contain water. During test flights, pilots can experiment with different centers of gravity while flying by shifting the water in the barrels from one side of the plane to the other. Contrailscience.com and metabunk.org do a wonderful job of tracking down all these images people claim are chemtrail related and proving them to be inaccurate. A good portion of the research for this video comes from contrailscience.com, so if you're still skeptical, check them out for more information. If you ever see an image or an article about chemtrails, chances are it's been debunked by them. Some of the wilder conspiracy theories say that what is being sprayed down in chemtrails is some sort of nanotech. Now, never mind that this kind of technology doesn't even exist yet. There is zero evidence that chemtrails are some sort of microscopic technological future weapon right out of a G.I. Joe movie.
The nanomites joined together as a fighting mechanism, first blocking, then expelling the cobra's venom.
And they're completely obedient.
Of course.
I'm sick of being social engineered.
There is no scientific proof that chemtrails are real. A 2016 study published by Environmental Research Letters found that 2 groups of experts surveyed overwhelmingly rejected the notion that such programs exist. The research was conducted by the Carnegie Institution for Science. Carnegie's Ken Caldera said that what some people think are chemtrails are just ordinary contrails, which are becoming more abundant as air travel expands. Also, it is possible that climate change is causing contrails to persist for longer periods than they used to. Caldera thought it was important to definitively show what real experts in contrails and aerosols think. We might not convince diehard believers that their beloved secret spraying program is just a paranoid fantasy, but hopefully their friends will accept the facts. Right you are, Ken. Conspiracy theorists will just call him a shill and say the government is backing this study to distract the public. That's their go-to whenever the theories are debunked. But by now, half of America must be on the payroll. How many people would have to be in on a conspiracy of this scale? The government, NASA, the Air Force, the pilots, air traffic controllers, the scientists making the chemicals, the people loading the chemicals onto the planes, news reporters and journalists, all the government shills paid to spread misinformation, all the YouTube commenters simply pointing out chemtrails or contrails. They're all on the payroll, and apparently they're all willing to stay silent as the government poisons us from the sky.
Fascinating.
Misinformation stops you from seeing the real problems. Stay vigilant, people. As we are a fairly new channel, your support means a lot to us, so please consider subscribing.